issues, but the time is 5:34 p.m. I would like to call our work session to order. Mr. Truesdale, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Daniels,
Here.
Ms. Davis,
Present.
Ms. Green,
Present.
Mr. Jones,
Here.
Ms. Rolls,
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
Ms. Hill.
Present. Thank you. We have 3 committees that you will hear from this evening. We will begin with the Administration Committee. We have 2 resolutions for discussion, Resolution 55 of 2025 and Resolution 56 of 2025. Mr. Truesdale, could you please read Resolution 55 of 2025 into the record?
Resolution 55, 2025, a resolution appointing Mr. Mohammed M. Billah to serve on the Coordinating Committee and as an alternate member of the Technical Committee of the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study.
Thank you. Mr. Bala, are you present? Okay, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you.
I would just ask that if you could please move the microphone very close to you so that everybody can hear you. Well, thanks for joining us. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Mohammed Billah. I'm a new employee with the city. This is my 4th month. And I'm coming from the Fed. I was with the US EPA for 21 years and with 3 different states for 6 more years. Technically, I'm still a Fed because I'm still on the federal payroll because I took the fork in the road. They call it voluntary deferred resignation. Till December 31st, I'm still on the EPA payroll, but they're allowing me to work for the city with approval from the Office of the General Counsel. I took that opportunity, and I really appreciate City of Harrisburg giving me the opportunity to work for the city. Appreciate. Thank you. My background: I'm an engineer, environmental engineer, with a strong management background. I have, beside my 2 engineering degree, I also have an MBA. I'm also like the federal PPM level 3. That is the program and project management highest level in the federal government. So I have tons of experience in the project and program management. I used to manage the largest wastewater program for the US EPA, that is called Combined Sewer Overflow. And Harrisburg is a CSO communities. Just give you an example, this small city like Harrisburg, your long-term contract plan is $1.43 billion. So nationwide Combined Sewer Overflow program infrastructure value was $200 billion. And I managed that program for 21 years for EPA. So not only EPA, the outside the world also people, I'm known as the expert in the wastewater control. Like I help City of Barcelona, City of London, Chinese program, European Union Commission of the Environment. I advise almost all over the world. So I'm known in that field, not within the USA, all over the world. I advise almost everybody. Like I like to do voluntary work also. I'm a member of the FEMA Search Capacity Force. I'm also a member of the EPA Response Support Corps. I've been almost everywhere in the emergency situation starting from the 9/11. I was one of the first civilian responder walk into the ground zero after the 9/11 incident. And I did the air quality monitoring in and around ground zero for over a year and a half. I was almost everywhere, COVID-19, Hurricane Irma, Maria, Rita, Katrina, all over the world I was traveling. So I'm making it short. My background, I'm an engineer with a very strong management background.
Okay, thank you so much. So this appointment this evening is to serve on the Coordinating Committee and as an alternate member of the Technical Committee of the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study, or HATS. Just for your reference, the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study, or HATS, was created in response to the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1962, which mandated regional transportation planning as a condition for receiving federal funds for transportation projects. The Harrisburg Area Transportation Study Agreement was made and entered into on February 11th, 1965 by and among the Department of Highways of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the County of Cumberland, the County of Dauphin, and the City of Harrisburg. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has ruled that there were a statute that where a statute gives appointment power to the governing body, such appointment shall be made by the mayor with the advice and consent of council. Okay, so we do have your resume before us as an exhibit to this resolution, but you've shared your extensive career and background in both environmental engineering, civil engineering, and project management. So thank you. So you serve as a project manager for the city of Harrisburg?
Yes, I'm the project manager for the traffic and engineering, the bureau. I'm actually supervising all the traffic and engineering program, and I'm working under Joel. And Joel is my supervisor. Actually, I'm taking care of the traffic and engineering project for the city of Harrisburg. Yes.
Great, thank you. I just have one question before I open the floor to my colleagues who may have additional questions. But what impact do you believe that you will be able to make serving on the coordinating committee and as an alternate member of the technical committee of HATS?
A wonderful question, for sure. I was always on the other side of the desk. That means I was giving money to the people. This will be the first time I'll be representing city to take the money. So I understand how the money work, giving and taking. I managed, just before leaving EPA, I was involved in $2 billion infrastructure grant money for the state. I'm also a project officer for the EPA grants. I'm one of the senior most project officer. So I understand very strongly how the federal grant program works. I also work with the 3 states. I also understand that how state grant program works. I work for the state of New York, I work for the state of Maryland, I work for the state of California. So I understand how the grant program or the loan program that the state works, and I have very strong understanding of the federal grant programs because I was one of the senior grant officers for the US EPA. I handle millions and billions of dollars of grant for the EPA. For even just before moving out, I was the project officer for 2 big grants for 2 communities in Maryland. So I understand the process. So I understand how the whole things work. Only difference is I was on the other side of the desk. This time I'll be this side of the desk asking for the money, taking the big chunk, whatever possible for to help the city to better fund it for our infrastructure project, for the capital improvement project. What is our priority? Like example giving you must have, as an honorable member, city council, you must have some priority that you're looking for me, that I'll be going down there and grabbing the money from them to help your goal and your objective and ultimately helping the city. So like I understand how things work. I'm an engineer. Like I always as an engineer, I understand 2 + 2 = 4. At the same time, as a program manager, project manager with my MBA background, I understand 2 + 2, sometimes 3 or sometimes 5. You need to make the justification. Playing grant is that kind of things. How can you make the justification where the city need the money, why city is the right place to invest the money, get the grant, get the loan, whatever needed. And I'm pretty sure I'm a very strong candidate for this position. I also understand I'm a very capable candidate for this position.
Thank you very much. I will now open the floor to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you. I'd like to begin with our Public Works Committee Chair, Councilman Rodriguez. Any questions?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr. Bilal, for joining us. Mr. Siders, as always. I actually see Mr. Joel and Jeffrey Knight are currently sitting members. Is that correct?
So I'm a sitting member of both the technical and committee, and then Mr. Knight is a sitting member of the committee.
Technical committee.
Technical.
Yep,
yes.
yep. You're both listed under the technical committee. So, but thank you for your willingness to serve in your capacity. What, of course, with your extensive background, it's pretty much obvious what you can bring and the benefits of having you. But what's some things you're looking forward to accomplishing while you're sitting on the committee?
I'm working very closely with Joel to better understand the city. Like example I can give you, like one of the situations that city have is the American with the Disability Act. What needed to be done. Like if I look at the numbers, right now the city has close to 10,000 ADA ramps, 10,000. If I want to modify everything to make it ADA compliance, we need close to $2 billion. Does the city with 150 million annual budget has that capability? For sure, no. So my understanding, how can I play a role that city can be in compliance with the DOJ ADA requirements? How can I, like example, right now, like Joel never asked me, nobody asked me, I'm taking initiative of the 2010 ADA requirements for the city. I'm taking a look. I just gave him a 3-pager yesterday at ADA, that was what we're missing here.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to bring here for the city is my expertise as an engineer, plus as an MBA with extensive program and project management background. How can city move forward?
Absolutely.
Not backward. Because I understand the 2010 ADA requirements by the city deadline is next year, April 26, 2026. We need to come up with something that city can say, yes, DOJ, we are doing something.
Absolutely.
My goal is making sure city is doing everything that needed to be done to serve the population of the city more effectively, efficiently. Joel knows, every time someone call me, I do not just answer the call. Joel knows me. I go there. I talk to the person. What is your problem? How can I help you? It's my responsibility to go there. That is my goal, how we all can serve the city population more efficiently, more effectively, more appropriately. And my goal in that role will be, how can we build a better infrastructure that we can serve it better?
Absolutely.
So for sure, it's a long way to go. But it doesn't mean that we need to stop. We need to start walking. One single step is moving forward. That is what I'm trying to bring for the city, that how can we better serve as a whole for the population of the city, serving the city.
I appreciate that too, showing how proactive you can be, not waiting around to be asked. Plus, we know ADA compliance is
Like example I can give you, like we have a ADA situation right now.
okay.
Because I had major surgery in my ear because of a vehicular incident. So I use hearing aid. But my hearing for some reason doesn't work in this room. I do not know why.
Wow.
So is there any alternative we have? For sure we have alternative to resolve the situation. That's what I'm thinking right now. How can we make the city better for the future?
I appreciate you being so transparent. Thank you for that. No further questions.
Thank you. Councilman Jones, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Thank you, Mr. Lau, to your willingness to serve. You have a very extensive resume, and I'm just wondering, after dealing with billions of dollars, what's the interest here? Is just because you live here? I heard a little bit of the passion, but I'm asking you specifically, what was the interest in wanting to fulfill these works in this position?
I'm sorry? Oh, why I picked up? Okay, telling you frankly, my situation right now, I'm still a federal employee. Actually, I'm getting 2 paychecks, one from the Fed, one from the city. I was not thinking to do anything because if I work 20 years with the federal government, I can live with my full federal retirement benefit, and I have 21 years. I'm getting my full federal benefit. Telling you frankly, if I do not do anything, I'll be making more money than what I'm making right now with the city. I'll be making more. But only reason I'm doing it, like my wife Eva called me workaholic. And she also called me OCD because of the workaholic situation. I wake up 4 in the morning. So because I cannot leave not doing anything. So I thought that I need to do something, do anything. My wife said, okay, if you want to do something, do anything. Go pump gas, go to the grocery store, do anything. Then suddenly, I don't know why, I opened up the Harrisburg webpage and I saw they're hiring a project manager. I thought, oh, it sounds interesting. But the salary difference is pretty big. With the Fed and my salary, the city is pretty big. It's less than half even. Telling you frankly, it's less than half. But I applied. Where is my friend? Your human resource deputy director? She left? Okay. He called me. Mohammed, we want to interview you. And I came here, I talked to Joel and Dave. And they almost hired me on the spot. Then I got stuck. What should I do? I said, yep, I love city of Harrisburg. Joel is a wonderful person. Dave is a wonderful person. The reason I love, because EPA, I was going to work suited and booted, which I never liked. I like this and this shirt. Okay, and Joel was wearing the city engineer shirt. Dave was wearing the director shirt. And I said, oh man, this is the place I want to work. This is the place I'm more comfortable. The reason I left EPA, Fed, I was tired. Tired of twisting the fact. Tired of making the story. I was planning to leave anyway if there is this situation like forcing people out or not. So I thought, okay, I was planning to leave. I'm not losing anything, getting my 100% benefit, getting 1 year of salary free, doing nothing absolutely. If the city, Joel offered me the job, Dave offered me the job, it's a wonderful opportunity, I'll take it because I like to work, I love to work. It is better than pumping gas. And I took that way. I said, okay, I'll take it. And on the top of that one, the environment, I was still confused first couple of months. But more I'm learning, more I'm falling in love with the city. I realized, I told you that my federal salary is more than 2 times what city is paying me right now. Money cannot make you happy all the time. Coming to work smiling, going back home smiling is a situation that you want as a professional. After working 27, 30 years, I have nothing to achieve. I did almost everything in my life I could do. Like I have a wonderful story you can see in the FEMA, Homeless to Search Capacity Force. When I first came to this country on the very first day, I was homeless. My uncle didn't show up at the airport. I came here when I was 14 years old. He didn't show up at the airport, I was homeless. From there, I came all the way here. So I realized that happiness is different things, how to be happy. And that's why actually I accepted the job. First of all, my impression of Joel and Dave. City engineers, director, public works department, and I wear this one, project manager. That is the answer to you.
Thank you. It was very detailed. And again, I just, just for my own edification, just wondering, how'd you land here? I always ask people, how did they find Harrisburg and on the map? But I would just say that, man, your background speaks volumes that this is your wheelhouse. This is definitely your wheelhouse. And again, the passion's jumping off the page. And I really don't have any other questions. I'll again tell you, thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Well, good evening, Mr. Bilal, Mr. Siders. Thank you both for being here. Your answers were very detailed. That every question I've had, you answered it for me. You seem very proactive. I feel like you already know what you want to do for Harrisburg, and that's what we need, because we do need to move forward. We're stuck in the past a little bit, and we need those minds here that see the whole city and are ready to implement a plan, and you're ready for that, and Joel is great, and I can already see that you all got things cooking up there, so I will not get in the way, and just thank you for coming here tonight and just loving the city. Honestly, thank you.
Thank you. Just to let you know, I'm not answering your question yet. I'm giving you some information.
Okay.
I'm a very people person. Like one of my responsibility was actually training EPA region and the state and the permittees. And some of my workshop was 5 days long, week long, and I was the only speaker. Just you can imagine that I like to talk.
Yes, you do. But it's good. You give so many detailed answers that it doesn't leave people wondering, but it leaves people thinking, I can't wait to see what he's going to do. So, and that's what I love. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. No, thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you for being here, Mr. Bilal. I don't really have any questions for you. I believe you've given pretty extensive answers so far. You seem like you're really passionate about what you do, and I can always appreciate that. If you love the city of Harrisburg now, you'll just love it as you continue on, not just for the city and everything that it has to offer, but also in every position with the city, you'll have a variety of tasks to deal with and issues that you'll be a part of solving. So I think your personality will fit right in, and you'll be a great asset to us. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for being in, Ms. Green. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davis, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Good evening, Mr. Siders, Mr. Bilal. Thank you for being here, and your resume is exceptional. And I like to talk too, but I think you got me beat.
Yeah. Then we can talk a sidebar.
Can you tell us about a challenge in your career or a job that was very challenging and how you solved the problems?
Wonderful question. I love challenges because first, the ideology man can realize is problem is the solution of everything in disguise. So I always look for problem. I'm a problem maker. Give me a problem, I'll find out the solution. And fortunately, EPA used me as a problem solver a lot. When there was a situation, people was lost, I was there. Example I can give you, Puerto Rico was a combined sewer overflow communities like Harrisburg, long time ago. Back in 1980s, Puerto Rico took some federal funding to separate their combined sewer system into the separate sewer system. So Puerto Rico EPA field office suddenly realized the system was not properly separated because whenever it was raining, San Juan, downtown Puerto Rico, was having basement backup. So they tried to, the field office engineer actually, he was trying to pursue to the region 2 that okay, Puerto Rico may not be totally separated community. Region 2 ignored him because the challenge was actually Puerto Rico took federal money, EPA money to separate, and EPA certified that one. Region 2 couldn't agree because of the legal situation. Puerto Rico field office reached out to me that, Mohammed, we need your help. The way the infrastructure works, the city goes to the state goes to the region goes to the headquarters to me with the issue. When he reached out to me, he said, okay, I'm coming down to Puerto Rico to take a look what's going on. I went down there, had a tour, and realized the system was not effectively separated. My challenge was actually convincing PRASA, Puerto Rico field office, and EPA region, the system was not effectively separated because of the political situation. That it was playing the role of taking money for the federal government. So what I did nothing. I didn't push it. I said, okay, I'll be going down to Puerto Rico a couple of times for the week long and training everybody what is CSO, combined sewer overflow, how it works, what is the control requirement and everything. So I did that. I did that multiple times, going down to Puerto Rico, training people, advising people what needed to be done. At the very end, they realized that actually Puerto Rico system was not properly separated. Their infrastructure was totally broken, old system. Like Harrisburg had the same kinds of situation. Harrisburg infrastructure is almost like 150 years old, especially the sewer system. Puerto Rico has the same situation. And it was a big success. That means ultimately, almost a year and a half, Region 2 realized that Puerto Rico, EPA Region 2 realized Puerto Rico is still a combined sewer system, and PRASA was on board. And I was lucky enough that actually I was able to get another grant for the Puerto Rico, $1.8 billion, to make sure they can effectively now separate the system that will not cause the basement backup in the San Juan, Puerto Rico, downtown San Juan, Puerto Rico. So many times, like another example I can give you, it is little bit out of the things of my challenge. Like I told you that I also do the emergency response. The first day I walk into the ground zero after the 9/11 horrific incident, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing, what needed to be done, because that kind of incident we environmental engineers never faced. What needed to be done, I walked in with one asbestos sampler, tiny little, one PM10 sampler, knowing nothing. Ultimately, I accepted the challenge, and I realized not this tool do everything. We set up 28 different environmental indicator sampler inside the ground zero, just outside the ground zero, just out of the city, to compare the baseline condition of the ground zero with the other outside. So I took challenges like this almost throughout my career. My life was a challenge. I told you that I started as a homeless here in this country. And I realized I need to accept the challenge. And I did it. I can talk to you sidebar long time if you want, what kind of challenges I took.
Thank you, Mr.
I know the
Bilal.
time is short.
Thank you for the examples, though. I appreciate it. Thank you, President Hill.
Thank you. Councilwoman Daniels, do you have any questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presence here this evening. I move to add Resolution 55 of 2025 to our next legislative session agenda for a formal vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Next, we have Resolution 56 of 2025. Mr. Truesdale, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 56, 2025, a resolution appointing Sharon Horn to serve as a member of the board of the Harrisburg Housing Authority.
Thank you. Ms. Horn, if you wouldn't mind joining us. Good evening. I'll ask or remind you of the same thing. If you could please move the microphone very close to you so that those listening and watching are able to hear. If you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes to please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Sharon Horn. I've been living in Harrisburg all my life. I have worked for the Department of Environmental Protection for 36 years. I'm retired. I'm doing administrative work. I did a lot of other work too, so I just don't want to. I'm gonna be mindful of the time. I just don't want to take a whole lot of time, but I did a whole lot of work for as payroll, customer service and stuff like that. And also I went to school for criminal justice. But that's about it. I mean, just like helping people. Just like I said, I help 14 people get health care services. And that's the type of work I like to do. Just help people when they're in a need or they're trying to get information to get them to the right place, writing letters for them, just walking with them and sit with them, make sure they get through whatever their situation they need to get through.
Okay, so just as a reminder, this appointment is to serve as a member of the board of the Harrisburg Housing Authority. The city of Harrisburg formed the Harrisburg Housing Authority in 1938 in accordance with the Housing Authorities Law. The Housing Authorities Law, as amended, provides for a 5-member board made up of residents of the city who shall serve staggered 5-year terms. Under the statutory framework provided through the through the Housing Authorities Law, the current staggered terms of board seats should expire in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. What makes you interested in this appointment, Ms. Horn?
Because I used to work for a housing authority back in 1979. So back then, I'm seeing ins and outs. It's a little bit different today than it was back then. A lot of times the managers will go out and communicate with their residents, walk the premises, and just to get acquainted with the residents. I just feel the reason why I really would like to be on a committee because it needs some transparency. It needs some things, needs to be changed. To make sure, those who are waiting on a list, they have a list. And people been on that list for 4, 5, and 6 years. Then you have, and trying to get into a larger units, right? And they can't get in larger units because they're seeing that somebody else takes precedence over what they've been on the list all the years, get precedence over them. We don't know their emergencies, so I think they need to be transparent with that. Residents have children that's of age that should not be in the same rooms with their siblings. That needs to be changed. Something needs to be done about that. Why should somebody be on 6 years and somebody else come in and just get presence over them? I understand they have rules and regulations of what they need to do, but still, yet, what presence did they take? What was over them for them to be able to get their unit, the larger unit, and they still in the smaller unit? So it just need to be a lot of transparency there to make sure those waiting on list are being treated fairly. Also, the resident services I want to know, are the residents are being provided with supportive services to improve self-sufficiency, employment, education outcomes for residents? Are they providing them the services that they say they have listed? I would like to see Harrisburg Housing Authority create a community resident newsletter to send out to the tenants, regarding those services they say that they have, and how can they receive these services, providing the service, the resident with updates, whatever kind of programs they have for the residents. I think that will be good to educate our residents. Some of them, have a program of teaching them how to budget. If you're trying to move them forward out to get out of, because really you should use the homes, the projects, I call them, the housing, that if you're trying to move them out, then educate them so they can be able to move out. The Harrisburg Housing Authority has a thing as far as the employment. I'm gonna use me for example. One time I said, well, I wanted to go back because I was retired, so I wanted to go back. And I said, let me see, because they had a position open. I said, well, let me go see if I can get in. I could not get in. I couldn't even put an application in, and no disrespect, but they said, because I wasn't bilingual. So, they have a lot of bilingual in the offices. There's nothing wrong. Everybody needs a job. Don't get me wrong. Everybody needs a job, but I'm saying it should be fair practices, because sometimes you have people in the community that may not can communicate with those that speak by. They want to communicate with someone else. So I think it should be a factor in there that they should be able to get a job. I mean, back then they had translators, people that was in there that would be able to translate, and then you had your English too. So, that's another factor. It's hard for them to get jobs in housing authority. So, because I've seen when I went there and how it was. I have helped a young lady who was facing eviction, did everything, trying to help her, went to the meetings with her, went back to back with her to make sure, things was being done in the perspective and decency order. But she did not get evicted because she did everything she needed to do. I helped her do everything that she needed to do. She was able to get Section 8. She got Section 8, which was good. I was really glad for that. But, they waited 2 years. I helped her clean up her place. They waited 2 years to give this girl a maintenance bill. How's that? How you wait 2 years to give somebody a maintenance bill? So I just think things need to be changed. I think things need, a lot of changes need to be done in Harrisburg Housing Authority. I think with the management, how I have interests when people have moved out of a residence and the same people move back in the same residence. I seen that when my mother-in-law was living out there. It was one next door to her, and it was one across the street for her that did that. So I'm like, how can you move out and come right back in the same place when people are on a list waiting to get in? So I just think it needs to be some transparency. Things need to be some changes done. And I think, and I go back to bat. I will, fight hard for the residents. The residents need to know that is somebody there that's going to help them, that's going to help back them. Because I'm not saying all residents are, where they need to be, but if some are that, that needs help. So, that's what I would like to do, to try to get in there and try to make some changes.
Thank you. I just wanted to note just a few things. The Harrisburg Housing Authority operates independently from the city, but its work is essential to community stability, economic opportunity, and neighborhood revitalization. The general functions of the authority include public housing management, owns, manages, and maintains public housing developments within the city. Housing Choice Voucher Program administers Section 8 vouchers to assist income-eligible families in securing affordable rental housing. Redevelopment and Modernization undertakes projects to rehabilitate, modernize, or replace aging housing stock. Resident Services provides supportive services to improve self-sufficiency, employment, and educational outcomes for residents. Partnerships works with federal, state, and local agencies as well as private developers to expand affordable housing opportunities. Financial powers, authorized by state law to issue bonds, apply for federal housing funds, and collect rents or service charges. And governance, directed by a board of commissioners appointed under provisions of the Housing Authorities Law. So I just wanted to note that. I do have a question for the Law Bureau. I believe Ms. Horn would be replacing an individual. Their one term has expired. Finishing a term?
I believe that when this originally came down,
Okay, wait.
my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
So I believe
Hold
when I
on.
originally sent it down, the terms were in there, but I did not, it's set in committee, so I don't remember off the top of my head. If not, I can get it.
I have
to you
it.
first thing.
Hold on.
I thought so.
Okay. So, yes, this was in June that you sent this, but I got you. Okay. So, Ms. Gloria Martin Roberts was appointed through Resolution 28 of 2024, and her term expires June 30th, 2029. Ms. Sheila Bennett was appointed through Resolution 46 of 2022, and her term expires June 30th, 2027. Mr. Zachary Jackson was appointed through Resolution 29 of 2024, and his term expires June 30th, 2026. Two openings will end in 2025 and 2028. Whoever is appointed to 2025 should also be appointed to the term ending in 2030, as their term for 2025 would only last 5 days. Okay, so this is a 5-year appointment.
Okay.
So just so you know that. Okay, I don't have any other questions. I'm going to open it up to my colleagues who may have additional questions for you. I'll begin with our Building and Housing Committee Chair, Councilwoman Davis. Do you have any questions for Ms. Horn?
Thank you, President Hill, and good evening, Ms. Horn.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for your willingness to serve. And thank you for noting all of the things that you would like to do, things that you observe, and that you realize that there needs to be some support and some additional help there. One of the things that I was concerned about as the Building and Housing Chair is the safety of the residents. I guess I could take the time right now to thank Chief Etterline and the Deputy Fire Chief also. The evacuation system for the residents at the various facilities under the Harrisburg Housing Authority. I like to, this you can note, make sure that every building is safe and that everyone knows how to evacuate
Right.
in case of a fire or something. So I know that our fire department has been working on ensuring that the evacuation system is up to date, but I just thought I would mention that to you, so you can kind of oversee if you get selected for this,
Okay.
to make sure that,
Yeah.
because we had a couple of residents come down here to talk about their concern, and their concern for being safe in the facility.
Okay.
So, once we went through, checking with the logs and everything, the fire department actually realized that the evacuation system was not up to par, and helped to make the correction at that particular facility. So we can never be too safe,
You're right.
We want to make sure that our residents know how to get out in
Right.
case of a fire.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Can I-
those are my only statements.
Do they give them any kind of like?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
I don't
Okay.
know. I
right.
just kind of
Yeah, because it
followed
seemed
up
like
based on two residents that came down here.
okay.
So I did report back to our Director Gloria Martin
Okay.
Roberts, and the Housing Authority. I guess the new president or director of the
Director.
Housing Authority, I can't remember his name right now, but I did, follow up with them as well. So that was just one of the things that came to mind, the safety of the residents at the Harrisburg Housing Authority and the facility. So thank you for being here again, and thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Councilwoman Daniels, do you have any questions?
Just whether the conflicts of interest.
Conflicts of interest. You broke up a little bit, but I think that's what you were asking.
Yes.
Do you have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to. No, I have no conflict of interest at all.
That was it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. First, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for your willingness to step up, even outside of the election, to still follow through and say, I want to be a part of the change and help the city in any capacity possible. So thank you for that. My only question is, how did you hear about the position and what made you want it?
Because I wanted to be on a committee, do something in-house, try to help somebody. I mean, because I did run for city council, but, just to help just to help. Yeah.
And how did you find out about it?
I found out, who did it tell? Somebody was telling me about that. Who was it? I think, I don't like putting people's names out there like that. But you know what I mean? I found out, okay? So, don't want to put people's names out there. I'm not that type of person, okay? I'm respectful to people who, and just like I'll be respectful to you. So I don't do that. So I was informed about committees that was being open, and they named some of the committees, and that was one of the committees I chose.
Okay, so they told you about several different positions that
It
were
was
open. And you
it
thought
was
this
a couple
one
of
interested you.
committees was open, and I wanted to be on one.
Okay. I don't ask it in any disrespectful way or ask you to call out anybody's name.
No,
But more
no.
in the sense of, when people come before us, people always ask, well, how did so-and-so get on that committee? How did that get filled? How did people even know these were available? So I like to be able to say, well, someone approached them, or they just took the initiative and got on the website, or they were listening to a city council meeting.
I do get on your website.
They listened to last week's meeting and heard about all the empty positions. We like to figure out how people find out about these, because there are lots of positions that are open, and we're
Yeah, I
always
do
trying
know
to
it's a
fill
lot,
them.
right.
And we also know that it's impossible for every position to be filled by someone going specifically to someone and saying, hey, I think you'll be a fit for this committee.
No, it
So it's
wasn't like
what's the
that.
best way to get people engaged? Because that's the only way we can really move our city forward, if we have different perspectives and different ideas and different backgrounds. Because the city itself is diverse, and we can't have the same thought processes, picking and choosing who's on every board. So
No.
I appreciate
I
you.
go online. I'll be checking. I'll be looking. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're continuing to be engaged and that
Right.
you're always looking for ways to be involved in the city. So I appreciate you being here tonight, and I appreciate your willingness to serve the city and the residents.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you for being here
You're
tonight,
welcome.
and thank you for being willing to serve and showing your commitment even
Yes.
outside of the race and saying, you know, I still want to help the city in some way. So thank you. One of my questions were already asked about how did you hear about the position. So my other question was just, how do you think you will be a leader that will promote change on this board? Because it is a very important board. So
Yes.
how do you think you will be a leader that will promote change?
You know, first of all, you got to do things in decency and order. You know, you have to have like minds. You have to work together on a committee. I don't care what committee you're on. Work together. Everybody's not going to be in agreement, but you just agree to come to an agreement. I mean, you know, just do what I know how to do and lead. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Horn. That's it for me, President Hill.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, any questions?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Ms. Horn, for joining
You're
us this
welcome.
evening. Great to see you again. I just thought Madam Vice President's question was so important because a lot of times we never know where a lot of these individuals come from and the capacities they like to serve in. And we just want to make sure we're handpicking the best of the best as you've
Right,
always been engaged. Sometimes we never know what behind the scenes or behind the veil brings. So the question was just very transparent.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it was one of my questions as well. So
Oh,
I just
that's
wanted
okay.
to kind of beat on that. But also, if you could create anything innovative for HHA, what would that thing be? Or what would you advocate for as a new board member?
I would advocate for trying to get, you know, like that the residents in that community to come together and try to put something together what they want fixed or what is needed, what is express their concerns about what's going on where they live at. You know what I mean? And try to get that information and to see what we can start decipher out of it and see what we can do about helping them with their situations. That's what I would like to hear more or less from the community, just to see where they're at and see what's going on. I know because some of them, I have heard some of them's not too happy about certain things that goes on. So, you know, I mean, things need to be addressed. It always have been needed to be addressed. They're not being addressed. I just wonder if all these programs or policies they're doing, are they really informing the residents of what, you know, what's going on? You know, like I have read, you know, the services, the support services they have, are they really letting the community know that these services are available?
And that's why you mentioned the newsletter
Right,
previously.
they should have a kind of, you ain't got to do it every month, you could do it every quarter, you know what I'm saying? Just get something out there to the residents to let them know, you know, you're involved with them, you want to make sure they in the know, you know, and, you know, they have a lot of questions. I know a lot of them has things, a lot of questions, they just don't know who to go to get the answer.
Thank you for that answer and your willingness to serve. No further questions from me.
Thank you. Councilman Jones.
Thank you, President Hill. How you doing today?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good. It's like everyone else. Thank you for your willingness to serve. I have a couple questions for you, and I think one that Vice President Green had asked again, and he reiterated was an honest question, and reason being, I'm just going to speak for me.
Okay.
I see a lot of these positions that come open, and people that come are sent to fill them. Just don't meet the qualifications for these positions. I want to say to you that I am proud of you continuing to fight
Right.
and your willingness to serve. But I would question this particular committee. I'm not saying you don't meet any other ones. I'm just looking at your resume. But I feel your passion, and I see and I hear you saying what you want to do to help these residents. But how familiar are you with HUD regulations? And
Yeah, I'm familiar. I said I
How-
work.
how
work back-
familiar?
Yeah, I have worked with them in 1979. So, you know, they have their, like HUD is a certain way that criteria you have to go through to even get into Section 8. They have different rules and regulations as far as how you can get Section 8, get into the residence. you know, but the point is my thing is how HUD, how the transparency of how people are on the list, how do they move the people on the list, how do they get to these places, you know, the timing, how people be on years and why aren't they being moved, but you're bringing other people in over them, giving them bigger, larger units when other people are waiting for units. I just want to know the process. I'm just finding the process.
And that's pretty much what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah.
How do you understand the policies and the thing? This is a
They
huge.
say it's like when the people they were saying, well, it was an emergency. Like a lot of times when people want to get moved into larger units, they would say, well, it was emergency. Something this family had precedence over this family, but sometimes it's not clear of what they're saying, because sometimes it's not an emergency. Some people are getting there because of certain favors of people they know. So I do know that. You know what I'm saying?
Again, that's the part that I hear that's very
Right.
strong in you.
I'm like for as HUD changed from the years that I have been working for them. So as far as their ruling and how they operate, I can't tell you exactly how to operate.
Yeah,
but it
because we're
wouldn't
talking
be-
about making decisions on revitalization in these communities. I mean, this is a huge responsibility. And again, what I'm hearing is the passion that you have to serve the people. I am just not sure that this is the place what you want to change. You're talking about changing law.
I'm not trying to change laws.
You're saying you want to look at the policy.
I just want to see how
Miss
things
Shannon,
operate.
just give me a
Go
second.
ahead. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is how you're seeing how the treatment of the residents are, how people are getting picked for this and that. That's why I'm asking you, how familiar are you with, the housing authority and its policies? A lot of these things, this is a huge responsibility. And that's just my only concern. Your passion and everything else for the people of this city is strong. And I know it's real. But again, my concern is just on this particular board, I'm just a little concerned personally of giving a
So what is your
nod.
main concern? You're saying the revitalization of what?
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you know the scope of work in this seat
The scope of work of the seat?
that you're willing to serve on?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm willing to serve on the committee. Yeah, to make sure it's transparency, but also, like you said, what you had just read, I read the whole
And
thing,
it's a
but
lot.
it's a lot. I worked for 36 years. I know how to work, and it's a lot. I worked for comptroller's office. So it worked. I'm not afraid of work. I'm not afraid to learn. To learn new things, because you just can't. Every time when you get in a position, everybody's not going to get in a position and know what that position is doing. You're going to have to be taught some things. You're going to have to learn some
Agreed.
things. So I'm the type, I search things. If I need to know what I need to know, I'm going to find out what I need to know. And that's just me.
Okay.
I'm a go-getter. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to go overstep no kind of boundaries that I don't need to overstep. I'm going to make sure I'm doing things in decency and order.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. I have one more question and then no more? Okay. I was just curious because I didn't see it on your resume. You said you worked for the Housing Authority in 1979.
Yeah, because I graduated in 78. And
Okay.
I came right out of school and worked for them.
Oh, what was
Yeah.
your role then?
I was a front receptionist, a clerical worker.
Okay.
But I took rents, I did bookkeeping and everything like that. I was more or less out in the front,
Okay.
calming things down.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Ms. Horn? Okay, seeing and hearing none, I move to add Resolution 56 of 2025 to our next legislative session agenda for a formal vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, we have the discussion of the committee business for the Community and Economic Development Committee. I will defer to our Community and Economic Development Committee Chair, Councilwoman Daniels, to lead discussion.
Thank you. Today, the committee is only seeing Resolution 60-2025. So, Mr. Truesdell, do you mind reading that into the record?
Resolution 60, 2025, a resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 315 North 2nd Street submitted by Adam Brenneman with Brenneman Properties, LLC, to convert the existing office building into a 10-unit multifamily dwelling and associated site and access improvements.
Thank you. Is there a representative for the applicant here?
It does not appear so at this time.
Okay, so I would just like to disclose, based on the name, there's a possibility I might have a conflict, but I will check on that. I'll ask the clerk to check on that tomorrow. And in the meantime, we'll proceed. And if there's a conflict, I'll just refrain from voting or further deliberations. Mr. Jeff, if you don't mind introducing yourself and giving us a brief description of the project, the process, and if you have any information on timeline and things like that for the project, that would be great as well.
Sure, and I'll try and provide as much background as I can on this project. Jeffrey Knight with the Planning Director for the City of Harrisburg. The application before Council tonight is a land development plan for the property at 315 North 2nd Street. This is a parcel that's comprised of 3 different buildings that were internally connected, I think sometime in the 1980s, I believe. And since that time, it's been operating as an office building. As Council is aware, as I've presented several of these this year to you all, the long-term trends of office vacancy in the city here is being met by redevelopment as residential apartment buildings. And this project is along those same lines. The space is being redeveloped into a 10-unit multifamily dwelling. The applicants could probably provide a little bit more on the layout and configuration of the space, but they'll be in 1 and 2 unit configurations. I believe they were up to 1,200 square feet for one of the 2-unit buildings, or 2 bedroom units that was on the 2nd and 3rd floors, has a loft configuration. So the project is going to propose several different types of unit designs as opposed to maybe the smaller, more uniform designs that Council has maybe seen for some of the other buildings. And I think that's a lot of that's due to the internal configuration of the space with different stairways and entrances and building support systems like walls. The project required the approval of a variance application, which the applicant did receive during the June meetings. So this is the second component of the project, the land development portion. The applicant, in addition to the internal configuration of the space, the applicant does have 8 off-street parking spaces in the lot directly behind the buildings. It's the same lot that's shared with, I believe, the Verizon Tower there at the corner of 2nd and Pine Street. And so even though the property is located in the commercial neighborhood zoning district and is thus not required to have off-street parking, they are able to provide 8 spaces for residents and their guests. With that all being said, the Planning Commission has recommended that City Council approve the request with the following, for the following reasons. The project has received the requisite zoning relief approval to convert the property into a 10-unit multifamily dwelling. The adaptive reuse of vacant and underutilized office spaces into apartment buildings is a long-term trend for the neighborhood and downtown Harrisburg. Other conversions of former office buildings in the surrounding neighborhood have demonstrated the proposed use will not adversely impact the character of the neighborhood, and the project will help retain existing architecturally and historically significant buildings. And the proposed reuse will add residents to the neighborhood to activate the street on nights and weekends and grow a customer base to support local businesses, and will provide additional units to the downtown housing inventory.
Thank you. I'm just gonna open this up questions for my colleagues. I'll start to my immediate left, Councilwoman Davis.
Thank you, Councilwoman Daniels, and good evening, Mr. Knight. Thank you for being here. I don't have any questions about this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Green.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions regarding this.
President Hill.
I do have questions, but Mr. Knight, I think they're for the applicant.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Rawls?
Thank you, Councilwoman Daniels. I also have questions, but they were for the applicant, and not that you wouldn't do a great job, Director Knight, but I also feel that coming into the city and wanting to have a project here, it's nice to show up and let us see who you are and what you're going to bring to the neighborhood and get a feel for you, because if you don't show up here, you're going to show up for the residents. I mean, you know, it's all those kind of thoughts. So I would prefer to ask them, why aren't they here? That would be my question, if anybody knows.
Here. So I had spoken to, I had sent an email out like I did with all of the other attendees here tonight, and then I had spoken to Mr. Brenneman on Friday, who assured me a team member would be here. It just doesn't look like they made it.
Okay, no call, no show, maybe, I don't know. But, yeah, maybe if they could come in, I don't know, that would be nice. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Councilman Rodriguez?
It's always good to see you all the time, Jeff. I appreciate you being here. But I, too, had questions to the applicant targeted the demographics, affordability, WBE, MBE participation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, you know, I don't want to kind of beat that horse down on you because it's only but so much you can give us. But I was highly hoping to speak with someone from Brenneman today. So I guess the questions I do have, I have to keep on reserve. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Councilwoman Daniels. I'm going to stay in tune. No questions.
Well, you have several options, Councilman. The deemed approved date is not. Sorry, Councilwoman Daniels. The deemed approved date is November 4th, so you could move it to the legislative session, suspend, discuss in front of the applicant. They do have time to not move until the next legislative session, you know, so it's up to how she would. They were very active. Mr. Brenneman himself came to planning, and then his site managers came to zoning. So I don't know if it's miscommunication.
Thank you. I'm sorry,
or
I
what.
didn't hear what Councilman Jones had said.
I just said that I was just going to stay in uniform. I didn't have any questions. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, so you were saying the deemed accepted day is November 4th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to just recommend, I'm not going to recommend that it be placed on the next legislative session, just because I also have the conflicts of interest questions myself. So I'm going to wait for Mr. Truesdell to speak with the applicant and see whether they want to come in and introduce themselves, or at the very least get the conflict questions for myself out of the way, and then proceed accordingly. So I'll just recommend that we not add this to the next legislative session, and we'll communicate with President Hill when I hear back from Mr. Brenneman.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Knight.
Yeah, and that concludes the business for the Community and Economic Development today.
Thank you. Our final committee business this evening lies with the Public Safety Committee, so I will defer to our Public Safety Committee Chair, Councilman Jones, to lead discussion.
Thank you, President Hill. I see we have Chief Enterline in the building. Mr. Truesdell, can you please read Resolution 65 of 2025?
Resolution 65, 2025, a resolution approving the adoption of the Dauphin County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan as the official hazard mitigation plan of the city of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Chief Enterline, how are you today, sir?
I'm well. How about yourself, Councilman?
Good. Yeah, can you just give us a little, well, for the publics, because this is a huge document, and it's a very important one in my opinion. Can you just give us a synopsis of what we're dealing with here today with the DMA?
Sure. So this is just a readoption. Council has adopted, I think, under my watch, 4 of these plans. I believe it's about every 3 years. This one actually, because Dauphin County had some grant money, we're 2 years ahead of schedule of readopting. But at the end of the day, the hazard mitigation plan is required under the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and every municipality has to adopt one. Back early, a long time ago, Harrisburg had its own disaster mitigation plan that we had to put together, and a lot of manpower. Dauphin County has stepped in as a Department of Emergency Services and has combined every municipality in Dauphin County under one plan, so it makes it a lot easier to work. So everything that affects the city of Harrisburg is in Dauphin County's plan. We just adopt that through the resolution, which allows us to comport with what the DMA of 2000 is looking for. When we look at the plan, it goes through man-made disasters, natural disasters, all those things that we deal with, those big scale incidents, and also having this plan allows us then to, if we do have, when we have those disasters, so whether that is, we look back at Winter Storm Jonas, so the city spent a substantial amount of money. There was a disaster declaration. We were able to bring money back to the city as part of the FEMA reimbursement process because we had a disaster mitigation plan. So we look at, obviously one of the biggest things we have, one of the biggest threats we have is the river. So flooding, so protecting and being able to protect those residents that we have that are in the floodplain. And then also looking at other disasters from tornadoes, that we saw, and unfortunately we didn't meet the criteria, the threshold for any reimbursement for the tornado we had. But also, one of the big things that's in this plan, we worked very closely with Capital Region Water and the Harrisburg Redevelopment Authority to ensure that the dechannelization of Paxton Creek is included in this hazard mitigation plan, which allows us then to apply and receive federal dollars for that pre-planning, the engineering, and then ultimately the construction of that dechannelization project, which takes approximately 400 acres, I believe it is, out of the floodplain. So it's a huge project, probably a $100 million project. But without this plan, we're unable to get any of those federal dollars to assist with that mitigation efforts. That's just a real high-level overview.
Yes, thank you for that. And I think that this is, again, an important plan. And I was just speaking with Commissioner, he's the commissioner, right? Carter? Commissioner Carter, about a disaster plan or an evacuation plan that we can come up with. And I think, of course, you would be involved in this as well. Again, with and I'm not scaring anyone, but just to start of this TMI. I can remember when I was a kid, when that leak was there, I know we had iodine pills and all of these different things. I just want to be able to make sure that we can put something together, because this is huge, right? And by the way, let me say this, that the public, you can see this plan at hazard-mitigation-plan.pdf. Hazard-mitigation-plan.pdf. And you can take a look at this plan. It's very extensive. And speaking of which, I want to also reiterate to the public that yesterday, the 6th of October, Capital Region Water began to temporarily pump and treat water from the Susquehanna River, which is our secondary drinking water source, and it'll be temporarily operating and to support some critical maintenance and vital components of CRW's drinking water infrastructure. So again, I just wanted to make sure the public know that they are pumping water, drinking water from the Susquehanna River, and that's pretty much what I have. Go ahead, I see you, Wes.
So I do want to touch on the Crane Clean Energy restart. So the Bureau of Fire, by designation, is the emergency managers for the city. So that disaster mitigation plan for anything that happens at Crane, the upcoming reopening of Crane Clean Energy, all runs through emergency management, which is led by the fire chief and deputy chiefs. We are working very closely with Dauphin County. They've hired another person on staff to work with that. And what we found, and what Dauphin County has found, what other counties have found, is it works better on a regional level as opposed to singularity as it comes to these large disaster mitigation plans. So when we look at the emergency evacuation plan for Crane Clean Energy, That's going to, we're already in discussions, working with Nuclear Regulatory Commission, with the state, and trying to determine what that looks like going forward. Knowing that the plan that we originally had doesn't meet criteria. So they're looking now at science as opposed to just blotting things on a map. And that may change, it will change the way the city of Harrisburg deals with any potential emergency issues at Crane Clean Energy when it comes back online, probably in 2027.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to see if we can get something, because this is so huge, and some of these things really may not specifically happen in the city. So I could see the bigger map of the county itself, but again, hoping that we can try to put something for the public. I'm always been worried about this though. Like seriously, like what if something happened? I know we might get a break in our phones and TVs, but is there something that we can actually look at as a city, to just in case something happens and we're prepared to do whatever it is that we need to do? I'm saying something condensed in layman terms for our residents to understand.
Yeah, and that will come out. That is a requirement of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to the owner and operator of the nuclear power plant. So while we were supported, and it is quite frankly an unfunded mandate to the city from Crane Clean Energy for the emergency management stuff that we have to conduct, in addition to our normal, what's really covered here, even though nuclear is in here. They're required by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to have all that stuff and to do that pre-planning and to make those contacts. The iodide pills you talk about, things like that, are all required and expenses of Crane Clean Energy at the end of the day by law. So we are working closely with them. Dauphin County's working closely with them. We've already had 2 or 3 meetings dealing with potential evacuation sites. Just as an example, the plan, the original plan for TMI, when it was TMI, the evacuation point for the small area of Harrisburg that was affected was the Scotland School for Children in Scotland, Pennsylvania, just off Interstate 81. That school's no longer open and no longer a functioning receiving facility for those being evacuated from the affected the 10-mile EPZ. So now they're looking at other areas, potentially Shippensburg University. So there's a lot of moving parts. Crane has a lot of work to do prior to turning that switch on and starting to create energy again. Yeah. Correct.
So thank you, man. I think this is a no-brainer for me. Those are just my input in it. I think the public should really lay eyes on this, especially in today's times. Nothing's really too certain. Just paying attention to any potential things that can happen in our area. So I'll open the floor up to my colleagues, and I'll start to my immediate left with your Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair Jones. Always a pleasure to see you, Chief Interline. I just wanted to go over the 5 goals briefly of the mitigation plan, just for the residents watching that might not even know what the mitigation plan entails. To mitigate the effects of those hazards, the planning team identified the following goals for hazard mitigation over the next 5 years. Goal 1, to protect life, property, the environment, and the critical infrastructure from natural and human-made hazards, preventing injury, death, and damage. The second goal would be to increase public awareness and education on the impacts of natural hazards and promote activities to mitigate these risks. Goal 3, protect and restore natural resources to strengthen environmental resilience. Number 4, reduce the risk of natural hazards for socially vulnerable populations and underserved communities. And of course, number 5, to develop and improve infrastructure to better protect citizens and both public and private properties from hazards. Very good kind of breakdown of that. But Chief, when I was overlooking the plan, there was one, of course, it's all concerning when we're talking about mitigating great risk, hazards, but there was one number that really stood out to me that was a bit concerning. So in 2010 to 2020, we actually had a 2% increase in the population in Harrisburg. So we're at about 150,099 in population. But the projections for 2030, we're actually at a negative 7% decrease, losing over 3,000 residents. Why do you think that they're projecting such a substantial decrease?
So that did not come from us. That came from statistics that the architects of the plan look at. So the plan really, that minutia in the plan, if you will, that we don't have the expertise to look at is done by a consultant. So they look at trending statistics on population trends and things like that. And that's how they come up with that. Look, do we agree with that? Probably not. Right. But what I can say, that to me, that is minutia in the mix. I'm looking at do the things that we identify that are as you outlined in those 5 bullet points, do they fit the plan that we're putting in there? So when we identify a project, does it fit into the plan? And is it going to be money well spent? Is it going to be something that's going to protect the public? And is it going to have achievable outcomes?
Absolutely.
And so I think for us as emergency managers, that's what we're looking at, not necessarily, with all due respect, the population.
Right. Well, as a legislator, being a representative of the people, that's what we're looking at.
Sure.
So when we see residents fleeing at an all-time high, council definitely would be concerned. So it's just 2 different perspectives coming from 2 different sides of the table.
Yeah, and again, it's an outside consultant.
Yep.
And quite frankly, if I'm being blunt, and you guys know I'm pretty blunt, the first consultant we started working with was from down south, and quite frankly, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
They had really no idea. They're looking at statistics, right? They're number crunchers. With all due respect.
Yep, no, I totally understand, but if it's something we're looking to, approve, it's definitely concerning, and then it kind of makes me think of what we can do better to keep it, retain our residents, offer a bit more, but it is just for mitigation of different hazards. Do you, as the chief of the fire department, feel like it is a very good plan to move forward with, something that they've taken some great time and really dissolved everything that could happen?
I think I look back on, and again, it was a couple of years ago, we looked back on Winter Storm Jonas, and, we exercised that plan pretty extensively, which was, and, I look at this as the pen and ink to the checkbook of the federal government, right? So we followed everything we needed to follow, and we documented everything we had to document, volumes and volumes of paperwork. And the money we spent at that time, and we were signing a contract for snow removal for $200,000-$300,000 at a crack, and as we massaged that down, because of the diligence and because of following everything we had in the plan, following the FEMA guidelines, there was only about $400 of almost $1 million of expense that they denied for us. And again, that's being able to exercise and use the plan as designed to fall back on and not get outside of that scope. Again, looking at those 5 bullet points, as long as we're following those, we're in good shape.
Now, just for my own edification, because I'm not even sure, is there a separate just Harrisburg mitigation plan, or are we incorporated with the Dauphin County?
Correct.
Plan?
We're incorporated right with Dauphin County. So there's projects in here. Again, there's Capital Regional Water projects, dechannelization of Paxton Creek, but there's also some things in Derry Township. Right. It is county-wide, which gives us a more regional approach to emergency management, which is, while every emergency goes to the local level of government, the smallest form of government, city or borough like Steelton, when we look at it globally and looking at it regionally, it gives us more oomph behind it to get that assistance for the residents that need it.
Gotcha. Thank you, Chief.
Whether that's pre-incident or post-incident.
Post, yep.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you. No further questions.
Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Councilman Jones, and good evening, Chief Enterline. Thank you for being here today to explain this important plan. I had one question and may go into 2, but it's kind of the same. I was wondering, being as though in Dauphin County, but also in Harrisburg, everyone does not speak the same language, doesn't have the same background. How is this plan, is it translated into different languages? How do other members of our community how do they translate this plan and be able to understand it if English is not their first language?
That's a good question, and I am not 100% sure because it is housed on Dauphin County's website. I am not sure. I believe that there was supposed to be a Spanish version, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Okay. And I believe it is an editable PDF. So I believe through that edit function, if you speak a different language, you can go in and change, and it will convert. It's probably going to take some time because it's 800 and some pages if you sat and read the whole thing.
Correct. Would you be able to get that answer and maybe email us, just in case
Sure.
we get that question as well? Because even Spanish isn't even just the other languages in our community. There's so many. So I'm just wondering, because sometimes we get those type of questions, and I would not know how to answer that because I don't know if there's a translation to it, but I know it probably is important for it to be so.
Yeah, I will reach out to Dauphin County tomorrow and get an answer on that. I believe it would be a simple email, and it
Okay.
could be converted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's all I have, actually.
Thank
It went
you,
into
President.
one question.
Thank you, President Hill.
I don't have any questions. Thank you for being here this evening. Many of my questions were asked and answered.
Thank you.
Vice President Green.
I don't have any questions, but it's good to see you as always. Thank you.
As always, thank you.
Councilwoman Davis.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Good evening, Chief Etterline.
Good evening.
So I don't have any questions. Well, actually, I do have one question. I read over the hazard mitigation plan briefly, and I understand that the city wants to adopt the county's plan. It says here that one of the processes would be to assess, I'm reading 2 out of 4, assess the county's and each municipality's vulnerabilities to these hazards. So natural hazards, tornadoes, wildfires, invasive species, utility interruptions, winter storms, tornadoes, radon exposure, and there's some more identified here. And I was just complimenting you and your deputy chief on ensuring that the evacuation plan was updated for one of our senior high-rise buildings. But I think it's important that if we as a community need to evacuate for whatever reason, each facility should at least know how to get out in case of an emergency. So you guys have already been working on that, and that's just one of the things that I'd like to see, follow through to make sure that the residents know how to get out of the building in case they do have to evacuate. Because can you imagine all of a sudden our phones emergency system starts going off and they're telling everyone to go to a specific point, but the residents in the buildings don't know where to go, and everybody's scrambling around. We have disabled members, people in wheelchairs, and so
Yeah,
that was my concern.
Yeah, very valid points. And understanding this plan is for large disasters. So this isn't for a building fire. This doesn't cover a building fire, or while it does cover building collapse, right? It doesn't cover those small incidents, if you will. A kitchen fire on the 5th floor of the Jackson building, the Jackson Tower. And that falls to that falls to what our planning already is, working with Harrisburg Housing as we had talked. So this plan looks at the bigger picture, where we're evacuating communities, the entireties of communities. And that planning, then falling back to the plan, we start to look at our different resources that we have. So we're looking at busing, we're looking at, how do we convert, in looking at 3 Mile Island, right? We take Cameron Street and make it one way, so there's no coming into the city, it's only one way out. And things like that. So that's what this plan is looking at, those big picture, big incidents, and those smaller scale. While it's not small to the resident, that fire and other emergencies in the building are dealt with under the fire code or fire codes, if you will, as opposed to the disaster mitigation plan.
Thank you, Chief Etterline. I just wanted to note that I still think that it's very important, even though it doesn't fall under this plan on a large scale, it does on a small scale, and it's very important that be addressed as well. So you guys are already on top of it.
Agreed.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Chief Etterline.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for being here.
Good. Councilwoman Daniels.
No questions, thank you.
All right. Thank you again, Chief Enterline. You got any last remarks you want to say?
That's it. I'm good.
That's it. So
I got to go finish reading the plan. It's 800 pages.
Yes, it is huge. Again, now, let me put that back out there. I'm glad you
There
said
will be a
that.
test at the legislative session when you go to vote on it. I will have questions for you.
All right. Again, for the residents out there, you can look at this plan and go check it out. It is huge. Hazard-mitigation-plan.pdf. And I would move to add Resolution 65 to our next legislative session for a vote. I know it's a lot of stuff. All right? And that no, that doesn't conclude. Oh, I'm still done. I'm waiting for her. I keep doing that. Mr. Truesdale, can you read Resolution 66 and 67 into the record?
Resolution 66, 2025, a resolution confirming the appointment of Robert Jennings III to serve on the Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee. And Resolution 67, 2025, a resolution confirming the appointment of Dominique Commodore to serve on the Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee.
Thank you. I do see Mr. Commodore and Mr. Jennings III in the building. If you guys can come up. Mr. Jennings, you could sit there. Mr. Truesdale is going to help you out with a microphone. You can come on up. Make sure you speak directly into the mic so everyone at home can hear you. And, I want to thank both of you gentlemen, again, for your willingness to serve on this committee. As you know, it's a very important committee, a great opportunity for our city to kind of, bridge the gap between community and police and bring forth some new ideas and direction. So just tell us a little bit about why you want to serve, and you both can answer. It doesn't go into, I'll go with Mr. Commodore first.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dominique Commodore. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to serve on this committee is that I work in the Harrisburg School District as an assistant principal dealing with the 9th grade, and I just see the influx of crime in the city. I do believe my position, being from Harrisburg, an alumni of the district, and just in the community in different capacities, whether from coaching wrestling, it would be a good point to be like a bridge where I can bring new ideas. We see a lot of different things throughout the day, whether it be from the students, bringing different crimes, or just other situations that happen throughout the day. It's a good opportunity for me to just, I have eyes right there on the ground, telling you what I'm seeing. Also bring, new viewpoints, share what maybe some of the students or even the parents are expressing, just different concerns, and even what, my neighbors might be sharing just throughout the streets of Harrisburg. I also think that, like I said, as me being from here, from uptown, I do think it is a good opportunity to be a bridge builder and a piece in the community to connect the dots.
Thank you. Mr. Jennings.
Yes, one of the main reasons I wanted to serve on the advisory board is because I live here and I see what's going on. Many of you know the jobs that I did in the past. I don't think the police are our enemy. I think they make mistakes, and those who do need to be corrected, but they're human too. And I think we have to, like Mr. Commodore said, we have to bridge that gap. And we have to, I understand it's some nasty police officers, don't get me wrong. And I think they should be dealt with, no doubt about it. I think the advisory board should make recommendations and do whatever they gotta do. But we gotta have peace in our streets. Our streets are out of hand. And one of the ways that sometimes you need somebody in the middle. Sometimes, I don't know how you guys came up, but I came up with 3 parents. And sometimes I didn't like what my mom and dad said. But then my grandma would sit me down and take her time and break it down to me. That makes it a whole lot better, a whole lot more understandable. So I think that's the way with the police advisory board. You need somebody that can sit down and relate to people. I was a constable. For those of you who don't know me up there, I was a constable for 17 years. I was a district judge for 12 years. I coached midget football for 22 years. I've been in and out of John Harris talking to those kids when I was on the bench, and most of them need just a little love. But you got to show them it's another side they don't see that. Some of them only see the rough side. So I think if we all work together on this board, I think it'll be a beautiful thing. Harrisburg might even be a city that other people want to come and see how we did it, because we can do it. This ain't Philly. This ain't Baltimore. You know, we can do this here. Right? All right. Can I get an amen? All right. No, don't have me preaching up here now, because I don't mind bringing the word. No, but seriously. Seriously, it's a needed effort. It really is.
I thank you, man. I want to thank all of the CLEAC members that came out and put their hat in this ring. Again, just how I see it from a public safety standpoint is that in 2025 or any other year, the police shouldn't be policing our communities. I think that's a us thing, and this is where I think this can really kick off to Mr. Jennings's point. We do have a great opportunity to do something and be actually a trailblazer in this regard, and hopefully be a model for other people to come look at. So I don't have any questions. I'm very impressed with you guys, and I'm sat with you through a lot of this process. So I'll open the floor up, and I'll start with President Hill this time.
Oh, I get to start. Thank you. So I just wanted to provide an overview of the CLEAC board and share the general function. So the Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee, or CLEAC as we've been referring to it, was established to promote public accountability and community trust in Harrisburg's law enforcement. CLEAC functions as an advisory body of residents providing oversight, policy recommendations, and a forum for dialogue between the public and the Harrisburg Bureau of Police. It is designed to improve transparency, protect community rights, and foster stronger police-community relations. In reference to general function, reviews law enforcement policies, practices, and data to improve transparency and public accessibility, provides residents a forum to voice concerns about police interactions and community safety issues, identifies systematic or recurring problems and help recommend changes in local law enforcement practices, promotes fair, just, and dignified treatment of all persons in Harrisburg, fosters trust and positive relationships between law enforcement and community members, encourages open communication and dialogue between residents, businesses, and law enforcement, and facilitates public participation in shaping law enforcement approaches and community crime prevention. I don't really have any questions. I was at the CLEAC meeting when both of you were interviewed, so I got to hear some of the dialogue between the current members and both of you as prospective members. Yeah, I don't have any questions. Thank you for your interest in serving.
All right. Vice President Green.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Thank you, Judge Jennings, for being here. I appreciate you continuing to be willing to serve the residents of Harrisburg in every capacity. I don't really have any questions for you. I know the work that you've done. I know your background. I think you'd be a great fit to the board, kind of offering a different perspective and giving that whole approach, so I appreciate it. Mr. Commodore, I appreciate you being here tonight and for your willingness to serve. I think being able to bring an approach that represents the education perspective and kind of seeing some of those struggles that our youth face in the schools and also in the communities, I think that's a very important perspective because a lot of the violence that we're dealing with in our streets also has to do with our youth. And unfortunately, as much as we talk about them and all the programs that are needed, it's a voice that often gets unheard in a lot of these important meetings. So I appreciate you being willing to represent them and take a stand for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Green. Councilwoman Davis.
Thank you, Councilman Jones, and thank you, Judge Jennings and Mr. Commodore, for being here this evening and for being willing to serve our youth in the city. I think that this is much needed, and I'm happy to hear when President Hill was reading all of the requirements and what would go on. Yes, our children just need a little love. And I think that the outlet that they can have to express their feelings and their thoughts and ideas or whatever is going on in their head, it's important that they have an outlet to be able to do that. Otherwise, their outlets are sometimes violence and, you know, just getting
Councilwoman
involved
Davis,
with
can you
different things that, okay.
Speaking to your mic.
I think this is a good initiative, so I'm behind it 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. And I also want to note, too, that the Commissioner Carter and Deputy Chief Young also attended these meetings, and I think they got off to a really good start. It wasn't contentious. I think this is something, again, huge for our community. So I also wanted to thank Commissioner Carter and Deputy Chief Young for showing up and their willingness to work with this committee. I'll move right along to Councilwoman Ross.
Okay, sorry. There was me being controlling, sorry. So, thank you both to Mr. Jennings and Mr. Commodore for coming. I know you both very well, and you are leaders in our community. And I think having you on this board with the other leaders in our community that are on there now shows people that it's okay to be friends with the police officers. It's okay to have a conversation. And I think that's what we have to see, because for us in our community, you all are cool, right? You're the cool guys. You're the people that people are looking up to. So to see you interacting with them and saying, yes, I am on this board, and all cops are not bad, and yes, things happen, but this is how we can deal with them. It shows a line of respect. And so I just thank you for being willing to serve on this board, being as though you already do so much for the community, but being on here, it brings it up another level and shows people something different. So I don't have any questions. I just really wanted to give you your flowers and also make a comment and to say thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ross. And last but not least, coming in at 5 foot.
Oh my God.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair Jones. I'm 6 foot, though, by the way. Principal Commodore, Your Honor, it is a pleasure to be in your presence. Really good friends with Mr. Dominic for a long time. Actually, I can attest to the great work he's done in the community, because he's done an amazing job with my oldest son, taking him from an antisocial young man in junior high to now flourishing as an All-American athlete, and now at Cheney University on a full ride. And I'd be lying if I didn't say Mr. Commodore didn't have a huge part in that, him achieving and becoming a man. So thank you for that. Absolutely. And Judge Jennings, I've been in front of you a few times back in the day. No, but it's just amazing that we continue to, cultivate a culture of just great individuals. There's a great council body here that knows who's doing the work, so it's amazing to be able to reach out to those individuals and, get you guys to play a role. So I'm honored, I'm privileged, and I can't wait to see what the CLEAC has in store for the future. So Coach Dom, as I always tell you, love you, thank you, and Your Honor, I look forward to working. But there is one question I think Mr. Siders may be able to ask. I love to see Your Honor sitting on a dais with the rest of the team. So how can we make this space more ADA compliant so Judge Jennings can join us? How can we make that possible?
Well, let me say this. I can walk. I just can't walk far.
Still like to accommodate. Still would like to accommodate if possible.
I got you, sir.
Okay. All right. But still, just out of respect, I think it's important for us to even ask the notion to accommodate. Thank you.
Go ahead.
It's my understanding that there'll be, so with the appointment of these two gentlemen, there'll be a total of 9 people. Is that correct? So 7 districts and then 2 alternates? Or general at-large members. Okay, thank you. So I think the meeting location will not be the council chambers. So I believe the room will be accessible for everyone.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, President Hill and Councilman Rodriguez. And I also, before I go back to Councilwoman Ross, I also want to acknowledge that Councilman Rodriguez, when he was in this committee, he was actually the one to go out and select the first 5 members of this potential committee, and those individuals really hung on for about 3-4 years before we got this started. And picking up the last leg, So I want to thank you for the work that you put in to help get this committee started, and I'm glad that we're at this space right now. Councilwoman Ross.
Vice President Green. No, it was me. I was just saying, Vice President Green started it.
Started the work, and then I went ahead and got him.
I apologize. Hold on. Let them talk. Yeah.
No, and it's just a quick question, and I don't know, it might be more for legal. I feel like sometimes committees come in front of us, we make motions, people get on boards, and this is not against anybody, it's just a question. But the communication then goes away, and we don't always hear like what's happening or what's going on that's new. But I know with CLEAC, you all have a meeting, so they have that communication piece. But like HHA or the audit committee, things like that, like, are the committees allowed, is there anything, and I couldn't find anything, is there anything in a rule that I'm missing that they can't come and communicate with us and say, hey, this is what's happening on our committee?
I don't think so. I think they just have to be asked.
Okay. All right. I'm just wondering, because I feel like it always after we vote on something, it gets lost, it goes away. It's like fairy dust. But just that transparent communication. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, you could have them as,
Like they
how
did come
you
up here
usually
just
have
now,
communications. Yeah, quarterly, you can have them have reports,
Yeah.
you can ask for pretty much how you want them to come in and communicate with you.
There are formal reports and advice that CLEAC, as well as some of the other boards that you mentioned, provide. Specifically, CLEAC, they are to share an annual report submitted to the mayor and city council summarizing CLEAC's activities, findings, and recommendations. Policy and practice recommendations issued to the Harrisburg Bureau of Police, mayor, and city council on policing practices, community concerns, and legislative or administrative reforms. Investigatory findings, CLEAC may issue reports on law enforcement practices supported by its ability to request records and in some cases issue administrative subpoenas during misconduct investigations. Finally, community engagement reports provides updates to the public on crime prevention activities, neighborhood participation, and police community partnership initiatives.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the last question, actually, I forgot. Just for residents, when's the next meeting? That's it.
Third Wednesday of the month. It's third Wednesday of every month. No, he would know.
Third Wednesday of every month at
That's why I'm
5:30.
What time do we start? 5:30.
I think it's 5:30 at 6
positive.
o'clock, and
it's
and
6
it's
o'clock.
welcome for community. They will be building out subcommittees as well. So we're looking to make sure that this gets a lot bigger. So we just want people to come down, listen to what's going on, and see where they can fit in under
Okay.
Yeah, I think the public, this is something open for them to come in and learn as well, and hopefully be an extension to this committee as a whole.
The CLEAC, the meeting agendas are on the city's website so that you will know the new location. Since it won't be the council chambers, you can access them there.
I thank my colleagues for keeping me on point as well. Thank you for making sure that the public has accurate information. And again, I would move to have resolution 66 and 67 move to our next legislative session for a vote. Thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you. We will move forward with our meeting agenda. Next, we have public comment. Just a few housekeeping notes before we begin. If you'd like to offer public comment, please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Truesdale has added a timer to the screen for your reference, and I'll begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment?
I would.
Okay.
I'd like to, it's a problem festering that's going to get out of hand and something bad is going to happen. And it's handicap parking. The handicap parking, I have one, my daughter has one. It's a sticker that goes on the back of your mirror of your car. And from what I understand, I could be wrong, correct me, from what I understand, nobody's supposed to park in that spot. Anybody can park at the grocery store, anybody can park at the health and welfare, you understand, anybody, but in front of your door, that's why they give you a sticker. And people are just parking there. They have handicap that they found or stole or borrowed. You can tell there's nothing wrong with them by the way they walk. But what they're doing is they're parking in there, and then the people that are in bad shape, like my daughter who had a knee replacement, she couldn't get in there. So that means somebody have to pick her up. It's a mess, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. Either it is or it isn't. Well, if that's not the case, then why do we have them stickers? When you get your handicap here at the city, you get a sticker for the back of your mirror with a number on it. And the number's supposed to match you. Even though I got a handicap sticker, I can't park I can't even park in hers. I shouldn't. At the house.
Many people are eager to respond to your comments and answer your questions. I'll defer. Who would like to respond first?
Yeah, so, and I'm glad you asked this so everybody's watching. We have legal here as well, so they can understand. Even though you may go down and get a handicap sign for you to utilize and for you to utilize, it's still public parking. If someone has a sticker, they are allowed to park on there. And I get a lot of these phone calls so people can understand that nobody owns we don't own the streets.
No.
The parking, we can't control it. But I think, I don't know, it's just looking at this. I mean, parking's an issue everywhere, but specifically for the handicap parking, long as someone has a placard for that, they're able to park there. And I'll let legal go from there.
Yeah, I think that has to be researched, Councilman. I don't believe that's true.
That is accurate. Any handicapped person can park in a handicap space.
I understand
there's
that,
several
but
different.
then why do we get the sticker, miss, with the number on it? I mean, it's a waste of money.
That's your number is just to identify you to the city of Harrisburg and which your placard is. There's several different categories that people can be categorized in, so we should remember that not all handicaps are visible. So there may be many reasons why people have a placard, but yes, you do not own the space. Anyone handicapped can utilize the handicap spaces.
I'm going to research that because it's supposed to be not the number on your mirror that they give you for your mirror that you're talking about. It's supposed to be on the sign as well.
Mr. Jennings, I will answer too because I just was trying to help a resident with this a couple months ago, and that is exactly how it did used to be. Your number had to match you, and you were supposed to be able to park there. However, when I called down to PennDOT, when I talked to the police department, they said it changed somewhere, and it's no longer like that, and whoever has a handicap sticker can park in handicap. Now, can the law be changed? Of course, it's a fight, but they did change it. And I can understand your frustration with it. I do.
Ms. Rose, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Is that something the city council can change, or does the state legislature have to do
They
that?
said it was state legislator.
Okay.
I asked. I did. I
Okay.
researched
All
like
right.
you too because I was irritated with the answer.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yes. I apologize for that. And I'm sorry
Oh,
for
no,
the frustration it
just-
caused.
it is what it is. It's.
But it is state legislature, and if you need help to fight, I can help you fight, but I can't change it without help.
No, I
and
understand.
we need people to rally behind us. That's how we change laws. So if it's a way that I can help in the community, we can all get behind and do that. That's how we change it.
We might need to get a hold of state rep and state senator and tell them our problem.
I think we should. We need to start writing them some
you
letters.
are in the 103rd, so Nate Davison will be your state representative.
Right. And Patty Kim's the state senator, right?
Yes, that's correct. Are there
No,
any
Mr. Grover?
other? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing, hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. If you wouldn't mind coming to the microphone. Thank you. It's still there. If you could please state your name and your address. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live. Thank you.
My name is Joyce Munez, and I live on 4th Street, uptown Harrisburg. I live near a playground. Everybody knows 4th and Emerald. Just might as well say that. I live between Emerald and Woodbine. It's a thoroughway with the four-wheelers, the double parking, the drug deals. I've been stopped at before I can get to my home. Drug transactions right in front of me, and I'm kind of bold. Get out of my way, which I was told don't do that. But you're handing off drugs right in front of me. I can't get home. I have reported it. I have said something, and I was told we know about it. I had a neighbor who just passed away a couple weeks ago near Emerald Street. There's a drug house. And I said, there's a drug house. The transaction was happening right there while the police, the fire engines and everything. We know about it. They couldn't get the man out of his house for it. Sorry. He was a good neighbor, but he died there. And they're stepping over him. But we know about it. What do? I've lived in my neighborhood for years. I love my neighborhood. I love my people there. There's children. The four-wheelers are going so crazy there. The kids, I'm so afraid children are going to get hit. We need the speed bumps, those terrible speed bumps I hate so much that I have to slow down. I don't speed anyway. But they need to be there at the playground to keep the kids from getting hit. What do? I just watch out for the kids. I love the kids. What do? We need help. And I keep saying every time I see a police officer, I need help. And I have nothing against the police officer. I lost a son, and it was an officer that came to my house and delivered the message. He was a good officer. And his offer to me was, can I pray for you? That was the best thing he could have ever done. And yes, he did do that for me. So I have nothing against the police officer, but what do when we want to keep our neighborhood? We want to watch out for our kids, but yet this is happening on both sides of me. I've been everywhere. What do?
You've raised some public safety concerns. Do you mind waiting after the meeting to speak to Councilman Jones?
Sure.
Thank you.
And one other thing. I've been in this town all my life. I was an orphan here. My mother raised 70 foster kids. My mom and dad. They had 7 kids of their own. I've seen all kinds of children. I helped raise them. So it's nothing, this isn't new to me. So I've always been around kids all my life. I love them. So I just want to keep them safe. So.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment?
Good evening, Council. I heard you guys thank everyone for the ability and to serve. I want to thank you guys, you too, for showing up. Now, one of the things that I observed was, the HHA. I'm not from Harrisburg, but I had the pleasure of living in 5 out of the 7 continents. So my perspective sometimes is not from the inside, it's more a global perspective. And I've had the opportunity to take in the LSAP at least a couple of times, and that time clock makes me nervous. Nevertheless, I beat the clock because I show up, I look at it, and I still voice my opinion. And I would say to the community, anything you have, like these ladies and gentlemen that show up, bring it and let someone know that you are beating whatever it is that is facing you. As far as HHA, I think ending longevity is important. Generation of individuals relying on public help is a curse. right? And we need to break that curse by any means necessary, Malcolm X. Now, I heard words of man-made disaster and mitigating, you know, these things that we often come across, whether it's flooding and fire and such. Now, the federal government have all these plans already there. All people are doing is copy and pasting, and they're coming to you with, you know, we need this money, we need this. The truth is, whether you're speaking legalese, or you're speaking finance, or in my case, business, we understand everything is business. Politics, spiritual, economical, everything is business. And the fact that they sometimes think that you're not smart enough to tell when a person is using one word, whether they're saying the white man or another word, Caucasian, that you're not able to tell the difference because you don't speak legalese or you don't have a CPA, it's insulting. And I want you to know that I can tell that you understand all the languages that are being spoke in front of you. The one thing that I don't think you clearly understand is the deception, and whether those deception filter from Reed, Poppin' Fools, whoever, if they're still advising counsel. Someone said to me the other day that a monkey will be a monkey and a gorilla will be a gorilla. Just keep a clear eye of who is saying what to you when you are trying to move this city forward. And I can only give you, like I said, a global perspective from the outside looking in. You are on the right track. Defunding the police is definitely what the people want and need. We know that we are in charge. We know that we're the boss. But like every great leader who advise us is the ones that are pulling the string. So now the puppeteers and the puppets, you know, we know who they are. Some is in this room. Some is in the administration. But I want to thank you guys, like you say, for showing up and for serving. Thank you. Good night.
Did you state your name and you didn't? I know your name, but if you could please state your name and your address or the vicinity in which you live for the meeting record, we would appreciate it.
Thank you. My name is Libby Prophet from the Experience, and I live at 2025 Chestnut Street in Harrisburg. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one, anyone to my left? Seeing and hearing no one, the time is 7:31 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.